Imagine two households living in the same city, earning similar incomes and navigating the same economic environment, yet slowly drifting into very different financial realities over the course of many years. From the outside, both appear stable and responsible. Bills are paid, careers progress, and life continues with a steady rhythm. Yet beneath that surface stability, there is a structural dynamic quietly shaping long-term outcomes. And it is something economists sometimes describe as the hidden cost of being financially average. At first glance, being financially average seems comfortable. Income supports daily life, unexpected shocks are manageable, and the system feels balanced enough to maintain consistency. Most people operate inside this range, where spending roughly matches earnings, leaving little pressure to radically rethink financial behavior. The absence of crisis creates a sense of normalcy, and normalcy tends to reinforce itself. Behavioral economics suggests that humans naturally calibrate their expectations to the environment around them. When the majority of peers live within a similar financial pattern, that pattern becomes the psychological baseline. Housing costs, transportation choices, subscription services, and lifestyle habits begin to cluster around what feels typical. Each decision appears reasonable because it mirrors the surrounding social structure. Mathematically, however, this equilibrium can produce an unexpected outcome. When income and spending grow together, the system becomes stable, but not necessarily expansive. Small improvements in earnings often translate into proportional increases in consumption rather than long-term asset accumulation. The financial structure grows wider, yet it does not always grow deeper. Over time, this pattern creates a subtle form of economic gravity. The individual remains financially functional, but the system quietly absorbs most available resources. Because there is rarely an urgent financial shock, the structure rarely demands a redesign. It simply continues operating, year after year, reinforcing the equilibrium between income and spending. Historical economic patterns show similar dynamics across many decades. During periods of rising wages, consumer spending tends to expand alongside it. Entire industries develop around supporting this expansion, which further normalizes higher levels of consumption. In this sense, the financial environment itself encourages stability rather than deviation. The hidden cost emerges slowly through the mathematics of compounding. Assets grow when capital remains invested long enough for returns to build upon themselves. When most income cycles immediately back into consumption, the compounding engine receives less fuel. Over long periods of time, this difference becomes increasingly visible. Understanding this dynamic does not mean that being average is inherently negative. Instead, it highlights how financial systems behave when income and spending remain closely synchronized. Progress becomes steady but limited because the structure prioritizes stability rather than accumulation. Seen from this perspective, the real shift occurs when individuals begin to examine the architecture of their financial system rather than focusing only on income levels. Once the structure becomes visible, it becomes easier to understand how small changes in allocation can gradually reshape long-term financial trajectories.